All righty, here we are, 11 o'clock Pacific time. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Thanks for joining. A lot of good folks in the audience. We have got a lot of programming today, and we've got some fun people on. And when I tell you this is going to be a fun one, I am not kidding. So people are moving in here. I'm just going to go ahead and get right into this so we can get into the content today, because this is one not to miss. I know a lot of our regulars are here. I can see in the audience, howdy everybody, but if you missed this one, you're going to regret it. I recommend checking out the recording if you couldn't make today, because this is going to be good. So today we've got what's new with VCF Learning. We've got Joe Cooper and Tim Burkard and friends, or Jim and Toe, as we've been calling them colloquially internally today. So then coming up here on the 31st, advancing your IT operation, 5 strategic benefits to leverage your managed VCF services with Amar Mohammed. We're probably going to sneak a session in on you on the 24th next week. So keep an eye in the usual slots for that. Little bit of TBD. I know as we're coming up to Explore, we've got a lot of new content coming out, so we want to take advantage of the time that we have with you guys as best as possible to get you ready to come to Explore. So flying by the seat of the pants a little bit. So that said, let's talk about Explore. Hey, look at this. We've got some familiar faces coming up here. Some sessions not to miss for those of you who are registered for Las Vegas. Be sure to check out 2308, Kickstart Your Career with the new VMware Cloud Foundation certification track. And we've got our own Joe on that one, as well as Joe West. So be sure to make a note on that one. We've also got Demystifying Distributed Cloud Security in VMware Cloud Foundation, and that's session 1772 with Tim. There's Tim. We've got Tim in the house today too, so we can ask lots of questions of him. So yeah, be sure to mark down 1772. Don't miss that one. And we've got some specials coming up. Great sessions from our top instructors, 1124, 1772, 2308, and 1936. And as a reminder for those of you who are registered, the content catalog is open, and yesterday Schedule Builder went live. So you can actually get in and register for these puppies even now. I recommend doing it quickly because those seats are going to fill up. When they sell out, we do our level best to try and right size the rooms to get bigger rooms to allow more people in. Can't always guarantee it. So I would say make a note of these sessions and get into Schedule Builder today if you want to come. Again, you're not going to want to miss these. VCP and VCAP certification exam vouchers are at a 50% discount. You absolutely don't want to miss that. That's a quality education. I can go on for hours of the importance of these vouchers with respect to, broadening your knowledge, advancing your career. These are golden, and at 50% off, there's no reason not to. You can meet Tim in person at the VCF kiosk at the VMware booth in the expo hall. He might even autograph something for you. I don't know how free and wholesome he is with respect to the personal promotion. Get the selfies, put it on the Instagram. Our own Tim will be there. Definitely want to check that out. So with that, folks, I'd love to rant all day, but we've got way cooler people than me in today. Shirley, I'm going to pass it off to you to go ahead and get us started.
Awesome. So thank you so much, Anders, for that great introduction. I am so excited to be here with these two VMware instructor legends, Joe Cooper and Tim Burkard, as they discuss the latest updates to the VCF Learning program. So without further ado, everyone, I'm going to hand it off to them. I'll be in the chat and helping with the Q&A, so please feel free to use it.
Awesome. Shirley, thanks so much. Legends. Joe, you're a legend. I didn't realize, and I don't put myself in that category at all. Hey, Joe, tell me about yourself.
Oh, my goodness. Hey, I am so excited to be here with Tim and the whole team talking about getting smart, filling in the gaps, and improving your career with VCF Learning. Right. So we've got a lot of really cool stuff to share with you today. I'm going to be talking about how you can fill in some of those gaps. And then Tim's going to be talking about how you can prove that expertise through VMware certification. And we're going to be giving you a little bit of a preview of what's coming at Explore with some new certification stuff. And we're going to help you to get ready for some of that stuff that we're going to be seeing at Explore. All right? Should we do it?
That's Tim, awesome. Joe, that's awesome. Who, me? My name's Tim Burkard. You might know me as V Gandalf. And I have worked with VMware now for 12 years as an instructor, and now a new role as I get ready to try to help you guys fill in the gaps, like Joe has mentioned. And my expertise has been in the NSX arena, and I've worked with NSX a lot, and have done most of my certifications have been within the NSX platform. I'm a VCP. I'm a double VCP. I got DCV, and I've also got both VCAPs in network virtualization. So I'm a VCIX. Ooh, that I! If it was just one letter different, Joe. So
I love those
that's
3
a
and 4
little
letter
about me.
acronyms, right? The TLAs.
Yeah,
For our certification. It looks like a bunch of you. We've got our first poll up right now, and it looks
right.
like a bunch of you are already certified. That's really exciting. I'm so glad to see that. Yeah. My expertise is in the vSphere side of things and the vSAN side of things. And like Tim and I have been colleagues for a really long time. I spent most of my last 12 years in front of customers, maybe even in front of you, doing live teaches on vSphere and vSAN. And now I'm bringing that same sort of stuff to video content that I'm creating. So I want to share some of that stuff with you guys today. And the first thing that we have to talk about is the idea that VMware Learning, which has really sort of been the umbrella that Tim and I have worked under as a part or a division of Broadcom, the VCF division of Broadcom, is now VCF Learning. So that's where we're going to start. So the content that you see from us guys is now going to be coming from the VCF Learning group, just so you can keep an eye on things. So we've got our poll question up, and we're asking you guys, hey, are you certified? And we're going to share the results of that poll in just a few minutes with you guys. So I really appreciate it, and I think it's a really wonderful journey to go down as you sort of prove your expertise and improve your own career prospects with VCF Learning and certification.
Over 75%. Over 75% of our attendees are certified. Thumbs up, guys.
Tremendous. Yeah, you guys should be applauded. And we're going to talk a little bit about that journey that you've probably gone down and are going to continue to, as people that are really invested in what we're delivering, what VMware is delivering as solutions for your own data center, your own private data center. All right. So here are some of the really cool changes that were introduced with VCF Learning back in May. Okay. Now, one of the things that we're showing here is the VCF suite, right? And VCF is really sort of an umbrella product that now covers all of this division's set of products that you know and have known for a really long time. So products like ESXi and vCenter, right? vSphere is covered under VCF, but it introduces vSAN, it introduces NSX, ARIA operations for networking, ARIA operations in general, our performance monitoring stuff, ARIA automation. This VCF package covers all of these products. And so when you become a VCF customer and you decide to deploy all of this stuff, you also sort of need to get smart about all of this stuff as well.
Well,
now,
what do you mean, Joe? You're an expert on all this stuff. You know every one of these things backwards and forwards, right?
Sure, right. Uh-huh. All of us do, right? No. All right. So yeah, I mentioned before that like I like to dive deep into this stuff. I really do. So my focus has been on vSphere and vSAN. And it used to be sort of on the Horizon side of products, but now I'm focusing back on the vSphere and vSAN side of things as a part of our VCF division. I'm starting to learn NSX networking. I'm starting to learn ARIA operations. I haven't even gotten into ARIA automation yet. It's really hard to do all of this. There's so much, and the opportunities really for us to dive deep into each of these products have really sort of, they're time consuming, right? And sometimes a little bit intimidating. Tim, you mentioned that you were an NSX expert, right? So you're our NSX guy.
I'm an NSX guy. I'm V Gandalf. So yeah, I've had some NSX experience, a little bit of experience with ARIA operations for networks, a little bit of experience with HCX. But the only way I know how to spell ARIA automation is to be able to read it on a slide. Okay, that's the only thing that I can do. And as far as vSphere, okay, to be a VCI like we are, you have to have
certified instructor.
A VMware certified instructor. I have to have the background at least in vSphere. So I know a little. I'm not a deep diver like you. You've taught me a lot about vSAN, and we both have a lot to learn. I can spell HCX. I can spell it HCX. I've got it. I've got that's as much as I know. And it's included in VCF. So VCF. I've got a lot to learn yet. I've got a lot to learn yet.
Yeah. All right. So one of the really cool things that I'm excited to be able to deliver is to our VCF customers at VMware is a whole library of on-demand courses. Now, I'm pretty sure that many of you that are watching this have seen our on-demand courses and may have in the past had access to our on-demand library. Well, today, our VCF customers get free access to all of our courses. I think that's a huge deal. That's a really big deal. So while I'm really in favor of in-person instructor-led training. You get a person in front of you, whether it's in person or online via Zoom. We do everything sort of via Zoom. You actually have an instructor that you can bounce questions off of. You can see their talking head, as pretty as they are. But it gets hard. I've always said that as a student, it's harder to be a student than it is to be an instructor, because they go, we teach you for a whole week. You've got to have that week's time. Well, in an on-demand course, you get to do it at your own pace. So I actually want to do a little demo here. It's up on the screen of how you get as a VCF customer into this environment. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to come over to support.broadcom.com, right? The best website in the world here. We're going to come over to Education Portal as you scroll down and you hit the Explore button, okay? And that pops up another window and brings you, it'll prompt you to log in. So you're going to log in with your Broadcom support account. Rachel has nicely, thank you very much, Rachel, posted the link to where you're going to find this stuff. And up at the top here, you're going to see two items on the menu. Let me zoom in a little bit. You're going to see VMware Digital Entitlement, and then you're going to see VMware Subscriptions. And both of these bring you to a full video library of our courses, okay? Now, the Digital Entitlement is all of the stuff that Tim and I and our colleagues have been working really hard at. It's the delivery of the lecture of our courses and lab walkthroughs. If you come over here and you get to see the VMware vCloud Enterprise Learning Subscription, the ELS, in addition to the lecture and the lab walkthroughs, you actually get to do the labs yourself. Okay, this is a little bit of an extra fee, right? But this one is available to all of our VCF customers. So if you hit this button that says entitlement, you're entitled to these assets that we've been creating. It brings you to a very simple page that says, okay, what do you want to learn? where do you want to fill in your gaps? And it's got all of these categories. So if you come over down here to vSphere, you get to see a list of on-demand courses. And some of them feature me and some of them feature my colleagues. Under storage, you can see our on-demand courses on vSAN. But I'm actually trying to learn NSX much more deeply. So as I come over to here to NSX and I click the on-demand courses link here, it actually brings you to, and I'll kind of zoom out on this one, to a whole playlist, which are our individual courses that you may know really well, right? Many of you may have taken these courses. But if you want to like dive deeper, for example, I sat with Tim, had a great time in our NSX install, configure, and manage course. Actually, I'm going to give you a little bit of a pro tip here. I'm going to have you come over to the list mode. It's much easier to see this on this site. But I want to dive a little bit deeper here, and I want to hit the troubleshooting course. So I want to learn about NSX troubleshooting. And that's going to pop open another set of windows. I'm going to click a couple of links here. It only takes about 11 clicks to get, no, I didn't actually. Maybe it's more. I'm going to hit the launch button here. I'm going to preempt it. That's click 14, 15. All right, here's the course.
Come on.
NSX troubleshooting with Tim. So if I actually start to, like, for example, bring open our individual topics, you can come in here and you can see, who's this? I don't know. Who could this possibly be? There he is. There he is. All right. Video window within video window within video window. All right. So this is where we are, guys. And this is a really exciting thing for us to be able to share, that you have access to all of these courses as VCF customers. Really, really exciting stuff. I'm going to minimize this stuff so that I can come back to this slide here. Now, if you're not a VCF customer, don't worry, because we have a whole series of VCF Learning partners that are delivering instructor-led training, whether it's via Zoom or in person. Now, these guys that are delivering this stuff are really excellent. Okay, they're delivered through our partners, but Tim and I have actually certified these guys. So while you're doing your certification on VCP, they're doing something called an ICW, an instructor certification workshop, where Tim and I get in there and we hammer these guys. I mean, we really have, oh my gosh, do they get nervous? So they actually have to teach to us. These guys are really excellent, and I am really, really proud to be able to recommend these guys for your instructor-led training. Okay.
I'm gonna add in. Joe, I'm gonna jump in there and say, my start of my career with VMware was as one of those contract instructors. So I had to go through the ICW. I had to go, but I was doing, I think, a pretty good job teaching at the partners. That's okay. It was quite a good experience.
It's really good stuff.
Some of those partners really did it. And their facilities are outstanding, and so you get the full benefit of our curriculum, and get that instructor that can answer questions for you, which, as Joe alluded to earlier, is a much better way than sitting there watching Tim or Joe talk for 40 hours, just to buy its time. So that's good. I see we have another poll up. Yak. Well, just like here, we're both very verbose. We'll talk for a long time for you. Have no trouble with that.
My mantra: just keep talking, just keep talking.
About half the people have voted in our poll, and it looks like cloud infrastructure seems to be the highlight, and networking. Come on, guys. Networking. Come on now. Networking.
That's for me, networking. I don't get to vote, but yeah, that's networking is the one that I'm doing next.
There, we just bounced up. Yep, I need a little bit of automation, and I need a little bit of operation. So I'd be voting on those two if I could choose two. All right. 2/3 of the folks have gotten in there. Thank you for telling us what is of the biggest interest for
Cloud
yourself.
infrastructure, right?
Cloud
Cloud
infrastructure.
This is VCF. This is
Big time.
VCF, the private data center cloud operating model.
That is cloud operating model, on premises. You've got a cloud on premises. And so that's where you're at. VCF is your bailiwick. That is what you're going to be doing. Fantastic.
So Tim, once we've actually gone through this stuff and we filled in those knowledge gaps, what's next for us?
Well, I think you want to prove your knowledge. Yes, I think you want to prove. Not only did I sit in that class and got a course certificate, a course completion certificate, but I also might want to prove I actually learned something. And we do that through our certification channel. And if I could get the capability of sharing, there we go. And we'll get to here and share so you can see my screen. I hope you can see my screen. I'm showing. Can you see my screen? Somebody say yes.
Look
Thank
good.
you, Joe.
Absolutely.
That helps me a great deal. Awesome. Very good. Okay, so we're excited to announce some changes that have taken place from VCF Learning with regard to certification. The first change, so we actually announced this in May, okay, but maybe some of you hadn't heard about it yet. But the beauty of being able to certify by just taking an exam. Now, in a previous life, I was very much a paper exam taker. Not only did I have to take some, okay, I'm old, but not only did I have to take some of my exams literally on paper, but I also did a lot of self-study. I mean, I studied, I bought books, I ran labs, I did the stuff necessary, but I didn't take a class necessarily. And so I was able to
did
take
this as a job,
the
right?
test. I kind of did this as a job, exactly, and then went to
expertise in this stuff.
Yeah.
Do they have?
Many of the people.
Go ahead, Tim. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No,
so you're
many of the
people, like, you don't have to sit in front of us for 40 hours in order to become a certified engineer with VMware.
That is exactly what I'm telling you, Joe. I hate to tell people that.
That's sweet relief for those people that have sat in front of Tim and I for 40 hours in order to be able to get an exam, to take an exam and pass the exam where they've already got that experience. You don't have to do that anymore.
Quite honestly, many of the people, maybe even some of you that are watching this webinar, sat a class only for the express purpose of being able to be certified. I mean, I sat in front of a lot of classes teaching them and queuing and querying the people. Why are you here? Well, I have to take a class to get the cert. Well, that's gone. And not only that, but not just VCP. VCAP can also be done in that fashion. So those of you that have spent your lives deploying data center virtualization, and that's what you do for a living, and you've done it for 5 years, you could take a VCAP. And frankly, you wouldn't even have to have the VCP ahead of time. Okay? So that is very beneficial. That's a big change, major change that gives you a lot of flexibility for proving your skills. Now, we also have announced that all the exams cost the same thing. Okay, we simplified the exam pricing. All of them cost the same thing. As a matter of fact, go to Explore because instead of $250 for a VCAP exam, it's $1.25. Okay, $125 in case you're joining from someplace that doesn't talk about bucks. But anyway, it's half price. But it's across the board. Your VCAP design, your VCAP deploy, your VCP, all these exams straight across the board are $250. Boom, boom. The content is the same. We're still working on new exams, of course, but the content hasn't changed, just the pricing. So you want to do a VCAP deploy exam, you still do the VCAP deploy, but you only pay, well, about half of what you used to pay for that exam. Then I'm going to show you a picture in a minute of the new version of the badges. Woohoo! You have gotten the new version of the badge from Credly. It's still the Credly process, but the badge has been updated. Now, I didn't mention one of the bullet points in the first column there was that you can still upgrade your exam just by taking a class. Well, I got so excited about not having to take a class that I kind of left that part out. But you are going to be a VCAP 2024 forever. That isn't going away. But in 2025, if you're submitting a resume to somebody or showing your credentials, you might want to have 2025. You can sit a class and have it upgraded instead of having to pay for another test, especially if you're taking an entitlement class. Right? But the badges change. The badges will show the years, and the badges will be more unique. And the next thing that I just wanted to talk about, I love the nodding, Joe. That's great. You're agreeing with me. It's awesome. The next thing that I want to talk about is the Cert Manager. Okay, Cert Manager is managing all of our certifications from tracking standpoint, but also as well as nick of time. I've got the Cert Manager up.
There you go.
Yeah. I was like, no, don't make me log in again. Okay, in order to get Cert Manager, you'll have your credential, your support credential. You'll get it the same as the way you register for courses, the same way you have gotten all of your access to certification. Ta-da! You log in. Once you're logged in, look at this. I can schedule my exam right from this same place. I can track all the exam history, even if you don't pass all your exams. I don't want to show that because there might be one that I didn't pass there, but they're all there. They're all there. It also tracks your certification status. Now you jump in and look at your certification status and notice on the left side, all right, we got schedule, we got program history, we got credentials, there's the status, and right next to that is you can download the appropriate logos from whatever certification you've got. Yeah, but sometimes people, use some sort of modification software to change the look. If you want to prove your credentials to a potential employer or to whomever, if I go back to my home screen here and go to the dashboard, look at what I can do. I can build a transcript linked to Cert Manager, from Cert Manager to your resume, say, that you want to do. Now, I did one the other day, and I said, here, let me share this with whomever I wish to. Now, it's public. So if I give this link via my resume or via conversation, via chat, via a lot of interviews are taking place via Zoom, you put it in the Zoom link, and boom, they can have access to your transcript via a third party. So it's not like you're saying it. It's validated by a third party called Cert Manager. I find that to be very valuable. Now, the way that I did that, is here. I create a new transcript. Now, you don't have to give them everything. They don't have to see any failed exams, for example. You can give them your name, put your remarks in, and identify the date, and it has to be a future date, but identify the date through which that's done. Do I want to display my address? Do I disable a transcript? I don't know why I'd be doing it if I was going to disable it, but include past and present credentials, display credential dates, past and future exams if I want to show them. Credential requirements, I've got the ability to tailor the transcript for who my audience is going to be. Like if I was going to show you guys, I wouldn't want to show you any exams I failed. I mean, what's that to you? Although most of you have probably seen me take an exam and fail. I mean, it's possible. I can admit that I have failed in some exams. But anyway, that's the new Cert Manager. And I think that is, I continue. I don't need to say that changes. That's a pretty powerful tool to assist in your certification journey. So
really
I said that I would show you in a minute. So let me show you the new badges. Woohoo! Aren't they pretty? Oh man, the specialists are certified. Yeah. They really do look nice, and those are as of May 6th. Anything before then will still be incredibly with the old exam, with the old badge, the old certification. Oh, by the way, with these badges, we also have e-certs. So if you want a PDF of your certifications, you can store it in the box with all the other ones that's up on the top shelf of your closet. You most certainly can do that. Top shelf is better if you're in a flood region, but be careful about fire. They are still paper. And this is, if you've taken our classes, you've already gotten certified. So many of you, 75% of you are very familiar with this path. Right? We got VCTA up to VCP, up to VCAP, up to VCDX. Well, the VCTA, I still consider that as our associate's degree. Very good if you're going to sell or something like that. VCP is our bachelor's degree. That's our kind of our entry level professional level certification. And then if you want to extend that out, you get your master's degree by going through a VCAP or 2 or 3. Or whatever, and that's our master's degree, and then our PhD is the VCDX. Now the VCDX isn't going away; the program is still right where it's at, and so we still have the PhD candidates that are available. So it's like submitting for a PhD. It's a big job, but it's still there.
I haven't done it.
I have begun.
Have you? Wow.
I've begun the process, but doggone, it's
kids
pages
running around.
and days.
It takes a lot of time. It's great stuff.
It really does. One thing that I'll just point out here is that, yes, we have those 4 levels, but we have 5 different tracks to choose from. Data center virtualization, network virtualization are the 2 of us are probably most interested. As of the 30th of June, the desktop management or end user computing is all being handled by the spinoff of Omnissa, and they are handling all of their certification. You know what? We've looked; it's the same tracks that they're working with, but that is all through them.
Omnissa's doing the same sort of stuff that we are doing here. So and it's cool because I went into my cert manager and I still saw all my Horizon certifications and all that kind of stuff. And that'll carry over to our friends over at Omnissa as well.
Absolutely right.
So and they're doing similar stuff. So keep on with your EUC journey, folks, as well.
Absolutely. I think it's time to see if anybody has any specific questions. I've sort of finished. I did my demo before the slide came up, so hopefully that didn't disrupt you too badly, Shirley. Look at your smiling face. Where's the smile? Come on,
we're good. We're good. All righty. So hello, everyone. Again, thank you so much for sharing all your questions in the Q&A widget. I have been busy answering as many as I could with the time allotted. We have had a couple of many similar questions during this webinar, so I'm going to combine a few questions into a couple of them. So let's dive in. So the first question. Dun, 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 dun. Since you're no longer required to attend a class for getting certified, what would you recommend as a best? Yes, right. What would you recommend as a best method for preparing for an exam?
Yeah. So Tim and I have gotten this question a lot over the years, even when you did have to take a class. So like, what's that next step? So, certainly as instructors, as people that really love getting in front of students, one of the things that I do in order to prepare for an exam is to say, Joe, can you teach this topic to somebody? Because if you can teach it, you're probably ready for the exam. So, I get as many resources as I possibly can. I get as smart and do as deep a dive as I possibly can. I do the classes, and now the fact that we have these classes available for our VCF customers, where you can just dive in and learn on a particular topic that you find that you have a gap in, you can dive in and like, okay, I want to do, I've got some questions on the NSX troubleshooting stuff in this particular area. You can actually go into your digital entitlement and get just that information. So look at the exam blueprints as we always have, figure out where your gaps are, come and take our courses, whether on demand or in person. Ask us questions via LinkedIn. Tim and I always love getting questions from you guys.
Yeah. I agree with you 100% there. And I was going to chime in, Joe, and say, yes, make sure you get the exam blueprint. Every exam has a blueprint identified. And what I like to do with that is to go through and cross off those items that I could teach. In class, I tell people, first you're taught it, then you do it, then you teach somebody else, now you own it. And there's no exam question that could possibly fool you. So if you can explain it, and we also talk about, if you can explain it to your grandmother, you got it. You've got it. So go through the blueprint and cross off any of the items that you can explain to your grandmother or your 6-year-old. If either one of those people can understand what you're talking about, then you've got enough of a grasp that, boom, you can answer any question with regard to that.
Excellent. What's next, Shirley?
All right. So question number 2. I have purchased an exam voucher. Can I use it?
Sure. If you bought it before May 6th, or you bought it before May 5th, I guess, the voucher will be valid for the exam that you purchased it for. But here's the deal. I got a deal for you. If you mail before midnight tonight, if you bought it after May 6th and you bought a VCP, all the prices are all the same. So now you buy a VCP voucher and think, I'm going to get my master's and go take the VCAP exam for that same thing. So the vouchers.
What if you haven't done a VCP?
So
can you still just trade in your VCP voucher for a VCAP and actually get a VCAP certification now?
You can go right to VCAP. You don't have to pass
bachelor's degree anymore. I can just become a master in the topic.
Sweet. You don't need a bachelor's if you can master the masters. Absolutely, that's true.
Excellent. All right.
Applied science.
That's a good question. Excellent. And don't forget, you guys, to come to Explore and do your certifications there. If you haven't yet purchased that voucher, come and do it in Vegas with us. Come to Barcelona.
For half price.
Yeah.
Be a master's for half price.
So if people have extra VCF learning questions, what should they do?
You can reach out to us, right? How do you get to us? Shirley, there's a couple of links that we have. There's the community forums. Do you have a link to those community forums?
I do. We'll drop that in the chat in just 1 second.
Cool. Of course, you want to, if you happen to be watching one of our courses, or you've got an instructor in front of you, please absolutely hit us up on LinkedIn. That's kind of where I do most of my social stuff, and we're happy to answer questions for you. But there's also a way to create a ticket in the Broadcom forum. So if you're actually having problems like operational problems and things like that, you can create a ticket over at support.broadcom.com. Rachel, do you think you can pop that link back up there too? Sweet, thank you so much. Yeah, so if you need to get a hold of us, if you've got questions, logistical questions or whatever it might be, we're really active in making sure that you guys get exactly what you need from VCF Learning.
If you don't have our email addresses, they're pretty easy, and I would respond to email as well. Tim.burkard@broadcom.com is mine, but I'm on LinkedIn. You can find me at vgandalf on YouTube or on Twitter, X, and I'd love to hear from you. Love to hear from you.
Yeah.
Perfect. And I know you talked a little bit about being at Explore this year. Can you elaborate a little bit on where you're going to be and what kind of sessions you're going to have?
Yeah, you want to start that one, Tim?
Sure, I'll take that one. I've got a breakout session with Chris McCain. If you don't know who Chris McCain is, he's kind of the NSX mindset guru, and he and I are sharing a breakout stage to talk about the vDefend solution add-on to VCF. And I'm also doing a community talk where I think I'm trying to talk Joel West into coming with me to do a quick community talk on troubleshooting. I don't know if we're calling it that, tips and tricks on VCF deployment. So we're happy to do that. And then I'm spending my off hours when I'm not on those stages. I'm spending the time in the booth, and look forward to meeting each and every one of you.
Yeah, I have a breakout with Joel West, and we're going to be talking about, we're going to be announcing actually some new certification content around VCF in particular. Yeah. So, what we've been talking about here is filling in your knowledge gaps with all of those different product areas. Well, you can kind of figure out where that's going to lead us in education and certification. As you bring all of that product knowledge together, we want to actually be able to tout your experience, your well-rounded stuff with a new certification announcement, so that you can really say, hey, I'm a VCF guy. I'm not just a data center, a vSphere guy. I'm not just an NSX guy. Man, I wear all the hats. I can do all the stuff. Bring it on.
I can't find any hats to fit my head. It's too big. My head is too big.
Well, perfect. So the next one was actually on the certification piece. So you just answered that. So thank you so much. The other one is, I'm not a VCF customer. Do I still have access to the courses?
Joe, you kind of you talked about that a little while ago.
Good. Yeah, that's a really good question. So the on-demand library is available to our VCF customers. We are working through the process of extending those capabilities to customers that are that haven't done the dive yet into VCF. Maybe you haven't done a purchase in a while. And that sort of stuff. So that's we're looking towards that capability so that everybody else can get that towards the end of the year, or the end of the calendar year, I think. But in the meantime, we as I mentioned before, we have all of our colleagues, all of our folks with our training partners, our VMware authorized delivery partners. And I think we've got Rachel posted a link to our authorized delivery partners as well. So you can actually sign up for an instructor-led course, whether it's in person, whether it's via Zoom. We still have open enrollment. There, of course, if you're an organization and you've got a whole bunch of team members, then by all means, you can have a dedicated delivery just for your organization through those, like Tim and I have been doing, for the last decade.
There's one more thing that you can do that doesn't cost anything, and that's the hands-on labs.
Yes.
I love learning by doing, and the hands-on labs. My favorite four-letter word that starts with F is free. And the requirement of providing an email address is the only cost to getting hands-on labs. And there's a variety of lab infrastructure on VCF and on the different components that you can work through. And it's a really good way of learning. They're guided labs. But I like to say they're guided, but you don't have to follow your guide. You can experiment. You can try some things in the hands-on labs.
Oh, those hands-on labs are a great opportunity to practice for your VCAP exam. Because, like, for example, if you want to do the VCAP exam based on vSphere, it's a whole vSphere environment, right? It's a whole vCenter. It's ESXi hosts. These aren't simulations. These are live. So dive in and learn. Follow the blueprint. Can you do X, Y, Z for your VCAP deploy? Yeah, those hands-on labs are great. And Rachel, if you can put hol.vmware.com as the link there, you guys can grab, head over to, if you've never seen it before, I'm sure many of you have worked with those. And Explore is going to have a massive footprint for HOL. So that's where we introduce like all the new labs for the year over at Explore, and you can actually sit down and work on them. And there's a whole staff there that's there to help guide you through it if you have any problems. But it's fun. Put your headset on, grab your coffee, and sit and rattle off for hours in the HOLs as you're sitting there in the nice air conditioning in the 115 degree Fahrenheit Las Vegas weather.
It's better inside. If you just do a Google search for VMware hands-on labs, it'll take you right to the link. And they're guided. But if you're getting ready for your deploy VCAP, NV, DCV, whatever, it's the same environment. It's the same environment. So you could take your blueprint and go chick, 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 right on down the list and make sure that, I could explain that to my grandmother now. Yeah.
That's right.
Well, perfect. So this one is the last
more,
one.
Shirley?
Yes.
Okay.
One more. And
I'm
it's
ready.
my favorite
I'm
one
ready.
of all of them. So this one is just for Tim. You ready, Tim?
I don't know.
Someone has asked, how long did it take you to grow that beard?
Jeez. Well, honestly, about 2 years. It started from a close crop beard, and there was a no-shave November of 10 years ago or something. There was a no-shave November, and Joe Buck and Troy Aikman were announcing a football game, and they said, it's No Shave November in support for prostate cancer awareness. And I said, yeah, okay, I'll do that. And the first 2 weeks were awful because all this under here, it just itched so bad. And then I outgrew the itch, and I said, I'm never going back. And so and 2 years later, it got me this long.
How long it took to lose my hair?
It only takes 1 minute in the shower, Joe, right? Just 1 minute in the shower? Yeah.
All righty. So that is all the questions we have.
All right.
Anders, back to you.
Awesome. Thanks, folks. A lot of good information there. We got a ton of stuff going on. You see, there we are. Whoo, buddy.
There he is.
That's me. I'm in Broadcom Central in Palo Alto today, in my cubicle zone. So, hey, thanks again for joining us, everybody. Really appreciate you guys coming in today. A lot of good questions. Huge attendance today. So we're going to get the recording up. So look for the recording up in all the usual spots. We have a good list of recordings up on YouTube right now. For everybody who wants to recap, again, reach out if you've got questions. These guys are ready, willing, and able to talk to you about it. This is something that is just so critical towards growing yourself, growing your career, becoming more familiar with our offerings, getting the most out of what you've got. You have so many good entitlements now. Take advantage of them. Learn everything, right? We've got one big package for you. If you've never touched NSX, now's your chance. You've got it. Let's do it, right? So many good cases like that. And again, with Explore coming up, come see everybody live at the demo booths. Come check out the breakout sessions. We covered those numbers in the beginning of the segment. And so again, the content catalog is open and the schedule builder is live. So get out there, register, get ahead of the curve on getting into those sessions because they are going to sell out fast. Believe me, everybody wants to see these cats when they get to explore this year in Las Vegas. And Barcelona's coming up. For those of you who are in EMEA, we've already done the close a call for papers for Barcelona, and the content catalog is going up at the end of this month. We are going to blink, and that's going to be ready. The registration for the schedule builder for Barcelona is not quite live yet, but you'll at least be able to get in and get a pretty good preview of what's coming for our folks out in EMEA. We haven't forgotten about you. We're just getting to you even now. So with that, any parting shots, folks?
Thank you very much.
Thanks for the cool question.
Yep. Thanks for the questions. Thanks for paying attention. Thanks for giving us an hour of your time. We greatly do appreciate you.